Hey, Raindrops. Yes, come through. We got merch. Finally, Carlos King is giving y'all merch. We got Raindrops, allegedly. Come on, allegedly mugs, allegedly t-shirts. We have it all. Make sure you go on carloskingshop.com. That's right, carloskingshop.com. Pick it up, tell a friend, phone a friend, and let's celebrate this all together. Now get into this video and make sure you like and subscribe to this channel and hit what? Yes, the notification button so you don't miss an episode. See ya. All right, Josh, if only y'all can see the behind the scenes.
If only, boy, if only, man. But it's all facts, though. That's the thing. It's all
Oh,
facts.
all facts and
Yeah.
nothing but the facts. And the fact of the matter is, I have fan favorite Raindrop Honey. Yes,
That's
come on,
right.
bro.
That's
My
right.
Detroit brother. So, of course, as we are talking about part one of the Love and Marriage Detroit reunion, I had to bring back Dustin Raw.
Oh man, I'm so happy to be here. What's up, Raindrops? What's happening? I'm so happy to be here. You know, I'm amongst family, okay, because I'm one of y'all. So that's it. Yeah, and our family is growing. It's so many raindrops everywhere. I said we can't. It's just storming every day around here, ain't it? Damn, I love it. What's going on, Carlos?
It is storming. It really is. No, I'm doing good, Dustin. I'm so happy. I know that you are a huge fan of Love and Marriage Detroit.
Oh man, yes, yes.
So before we get into tonight's part one reunion, you and I have not talked about this season at all, even like behind the scenes,
No,
via
not
text,
even in personal conversations. No,
none of
we have
it.
not.
Do me a solid and quickly recap your thoughts of the season overall before we get into tonight's reunion.
One of my most favorite things. So first of all, I'm very happy to be here and thank you for having me on again. I love this seat, right? um, I what I love most about this cast as an ensemble is that everyone has a part and they play it, right? Everyone has a clearly defined station in this cast, and it does not adjust the value of anyone else's contribution. It's just a very specific contribution, right? LaToya and Anthony play their part, right? Colby and Russell play their part. Brandon and Kristina play their part. And so I love that. There's not a lot of overlap with the cast as far as personalities, as far as style, and as far as contribution, right? Which made the main conflict of the season the accusation of basically plagiarism, right? From Brandon and Kristina against Colby, right? It made it that much more juicy because everybody's kind of doing their own thing. How is this overlap happening? So I love that about this cast. I am very much appreciative of the husbands of this cast. I feel like the husbands really showed up and contributed greatly to the stories and to the enjoyment, the overall entertainment factor for this season. I feel like was greatly increased by the husbands. And so that's great when the husbands want to play along just as much, right? And that's one of the great things about the Love and Marriage franchise overall is that the husbands are absolutely involved and a necessary component. So I love that. This is Detroit. I love seeing the parts of the city that I am familiar with. I love seeing the new ways that the city has improved and grown and
Yeah.
evolved, you know, since I've gone. So I love that. I'm very, very happy that we finally got cameras on some of these dynamic Black people, okay, that are living large in Detroit, Michigan. And it is about time. So kudos to Kingdom Reign for doing it because we have needed this for a long, long, long time. And who better to helm that ship, right? Than a Detroit player himself. So I love it. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. No, listen, it was definitely intentional to really make sure Detroit came out with the bang, started off with the bang
Yeah.
with the whole thing of the
When they're at the Lavender Field. Mm-hmm.
yes, at the studio, and then you had the artist, Kristina FaceTiming,
Yeah.
then you had the anniversary party at the Lavender Field, and
Yeah.
that went down. We wanted to make sure that we got real people to talk about their real stories, and who better yet than these couples to do it. And it made for a great season, which is why part one of the reunion was very interesting and very explosive. We'll get to that part later, but one of the things that happened at the top of the episode was Brandon and Kristina's marriage.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people felt that they were the Melody and Martell of this particular franchise. You have this power couple who's attractive, and you don't know what's really going on inside their marriage, whether Brandon's faithful, is Kristina wanting more because she deserves more, or is she being aggy? What's happening here? With the Holtz, we obviously saw that Martell was messing with another woman.
Yes.
Tonight, it was revealed that Brandon was sending text messages to an artist where he said he did not like his wife. I don't like her. And I don't know if you noticed this, because my job is to ask the questions.
And you asked them for sure. Yeah.
Kristina was very reluctant in revealing that piece of information. Talk me through what you thought about that whole scenario.
Well, it was very plain to me. Their story changed, right? That whole chapter of their marriage was sold to us differently and expressed to us differently by them earlier in the season when it first surfaced. And we could see that there are obvious trust issues between the two of them in relation to his business and his business practices kind of overlapping their personal relationship. Obviously, okay, he wasn't just sending text messages to some female artist, right, saying that he didn't like Kristina. There was more to it there. It was definitely received by the audience from them as if it was an emotional affair. We know people have those. That's a real thing. Sometimes people cross lines and cross boundaries of communication with someone who they may be attracted to, or just in engaging with in a way that is not reflective of nor respectful to their marital status, right? And that's what happened here. So for them to now get to the reunion stage and conveniently, diminish it, play it down as if it was, oh, well, no, it wasn't an emotional affair. No, it wasn't cheating. No, it wasn't any of that. When it was clearly expressed to us and presented to us as such earlier in the season, that was different, and that was a shift. So I called the play as soon as they made it. I was like, oh, okay, they've had a talk. Okay, they had a pregame huddle, before they came on the reunion stage, and said, all right, here we go. What we're gonna do is this, and we're not gonna do is this, and that was something they agreed on, obviously, to downplay that situation. Who it would be interesting to hear from is the artist, right? That's what I would love to hear from. Even if you look at the young lady that performed at the showcase, which forgive me for jumping ahead, but the young lady that Star Factory presented at one of the artists, because I'm sure there were multiple, but the young lady that they featured on the show at the showcase, Kristina was she was honest with her critique when she became involved in that process, but she was also petty because it was an attractive young woman and she was working so closely with Brandon. Obviously, whatever Brandon did, whenever he texted that artist, okay, it was more than just the fact that he don't like Kristina, which was also hilarious. But it was more than that he doesn't like Kristina. Him and that artist had a connection, and that is what I think was so grossly offensive to Kristina as his wife. That is my prediction.
Do you think conversations were had where it was flirty beyond attraction, where it could have been some sexual conversations? Do you think dick pics were shared, or things of that nature?
I think we'll never know, Carlos. I think that I think we will never know whether or not they were. I think the possibility is there for sure for there to be, because think about it. If you're going to cross a line of communication and you hear them sirens coming to get you for doing it, right, in the background, if you're going to cross those lines and cross those boundaries of communications, at least make it worth your while, right? So if you're going to step out, go on and step with both feet. Send the pic so you can receive. Send to receive. Send to receive. Right? If you're going to do it. I don't think that he was at all. Brandon doesn't strike me as someone who would be measured and cautiously overstepping and cautiously engaging with some when he wasn't supposed to be. Brandon went in and did what he had to do. So we will never know, because obviously him and Kristina, which, hey, I'm not knocking it either. Let me be clear on that. If you are married, okay, and you and your spouse are dedicated to safeguarding and protecting your home, okay, you have children, you have a family, I completely understand them deciding to kind of clean that up. Maybe they feel like they were a little bit too comfortable on camera, a little bit too transparent, and so maybe they want to kind of clean that up. Maybe they decide as we move forward that this is not what they want to do anymore. We don't know. So I understand them being protective of that, right? But it's kind of one of those things where if you decide that you want to do this, you assume that responsibility going in. You know that the things that you do and say you're going to be held accountable for to a standard that is beyond what's normal. And you know that people are going to peel back the layers of everything you present. One of them being this lie you're now telling that it wasn't a big deal when he was texting this artist that he clearly crossed some real actual boundaries with. So I get it. I think Kristina's beautiful, and I think that presentation is important to her. And I know a lot of women like that. And I think that she is being cautious in this reunion stage space. And you can tell by kind of the way she played, and in some cases did not play the game. You could tell that she's being cautious on this reunion stage. So I'm watching. Yeah.
Okay, well, before we move on to another couple, this is very fascinating. So Kristina came into this season, right? First episode, out the gate, like I said, she's calling Brandon via FaceTime on his iPhone.
Yeah.
He dismisses her. You could tell she was like, okay. And then the revelation from Colby, like, let's talk about this artist, right? The surprise from Kristina's face, because when you look at human behavior, you sometimes see when somebody's really surprised or when someone's putting on.
Yeah.
She was clearly surprised. And unless you went to the Angela Bassett School of Acting.
Let's talk about it. Tasha Smith. Okay.
Oh, Tasha Smith.
Yeah.
Okay. The flow of tears. Not when you watch certain movies or you watch Tiffany New York Pollard, who cries
an inner cry.
Claudia's like, what are you doing? It's an inner cry. You're like, I don't see no tears, bitch. So when you see the physical tears fall for Kristina's eyes, what you're saying is interesting, because it shows that the reminder of a female artist, I'm finding out right now, is making these tears fall. So is it because you are reminded that this man told this female artist, I don't like her? Which by the way, if my man tells somebody else I don't like Carlos, real talk, I would be devastated.
It would be extremely hurtful.
Like,
extremely hurtful.
You don't like me?
Yeah.
One thing about getting on your nerves.
Right.
Okay, cool. You don't like me is hurtful.
It places you in a different category.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's extremely hurtful.
Yes.
It's more than that, because that's something she could have got over. Okay? I don't give a damn what nobody say. It was more than that. Okay. And I love Kristina. I feel like Kristina is an anchor of this show. I love the way
would you call Kristina a force multiplier?
Absolutely. 100%. Ever much so more evidenced, right, by her performance at this reunion part one. She was measured, she was controlled, she was selective, she was choosy in all the right ways, and she had a goal of presenting a certain way. That's why she was kind of making it plain in relation to her perception of her cast. And I thought that was hilarious, because she was so intentional. So yes, I would absolutely say she is the force multiplier on this cast. I think we have a couple of dark horse surprises that have it in them. Shout out to Dr. LaToya Thompson, which let's get on that for 1 second.
No,
right?
listen. There's no rules or reality. We don't go in chronological order.
Okay.
No.
Specifically, I want to touch on this scuttlebutt about her credentials, right? As a doctor, when people become doctors in our society, it eclipses your title as a miss, a mister, a Mrs., whatever you want to call it. You're Dr. Thompson for hereforth, right? Not only that, she has a doctorate in physical therapy, which is an extremely specialized, hard degree to get, right? It is different from being a medical doctor or being, an OBGYN or any other type of specialized, doctor. But she's a doctor. She has a doctorate of physical therapy. She's Dr. LaToya Thompson. And so to try to minimize that, it's just ridiculous to me. It's such an accomplishment. And the fact that we have her on this reality television show legitimizes this cast in a way that I am greatly appreciative of. And so I just can't believe people were trying to discredit her in some way because she's a doctor of physical therapy. You have doctors of pharmacy. You have several different types of doctors that you can be, like doctors of education, like so many kinds that you can be. So put a little respect on her name in that way, and much more so her title. That's a Black doctor, a Black female doctor. Celebrate that instead of trying to knock it. I thought that was really nasty when I saw some of that conversation, but I saw more conversation that eclipsed that about how much they loved her and her husband's rapport. One thing I love about LaToya, she's very, very present in her relationship and in her marriage. And she immediately in conversation, she will tell her husband, yes, you're right about that. Or, yes, you're right. That did happen, whatever. She's very present and accountable in their communication. And I think that's extremely healthy and refreshing to see on television. I love the way that LaToya and Anthony talk to one another. Even here's a prime example, at his event, his men's event. What was it? The He-Man.
They called it
what was it? What?
Did you just say He-Man?
Whatever it was, right?
My stomach. Oh my God.
The rascals.
I got a couple of abs, Dustin.
Okay, well, we're gonna flex them today.
I feel like I just gave 2 more abs to the 4 that I have, child. So look,
now
you said it's called a man's movement, but you say
man's movement. Yeah, at the club, I don't know what it was. The key, I didn't know what it was.
Ballroom at a hotel.
The fact that the tables didn't have skirting, there was no signage, all the things that you would have in an event. But you know what I love the most? In that moment, and you know it, Carlos, you said, now, where is the damn skirting that say man's movement? I don't see no signs. Ain't no pictures of Anthony doing like this. You know what I'm saying? With bullets. I don't see no agenda. There's nothing.
Wait. It's the
okay, the men's movement in Detroit. Where is all of that? All the things that make this feel like something. There wasn't a clear agenda. It was a mess. We can go ahead and say that, but it was an effort nonetheless. And I understand what that brother is trying to do. Okay. And he's gonna get it there because we know how these fans work, and we know that they are going to ping him with suggestions of improvement. And Anthony strikes me as the type that's going to listen. And so I look forward to year 2. We're going to see how far the men have moved in the men's movement in season 2. I look forward to that. But LaToya was right. And what I loved the most was that even in that moment, she did not berate him or tell him that this way, you should have had me in on it. She just said, okay, yep, right. She said, of course I have these ideas and I see areas where if I was involved, there would have been improvement, but that's me with trying to be controlling. And this is his thing. I'm gonna give him that space. And she did it. And that, my friends, is called a healthy relationship. And it felt so good to see that on television, Yeah. So I love that they bring that levity to the cast in that way. And I enjoyed Dr. LaToya Thompson on that reunion stage. I have to admit, I think she looked beautiful. I love the gloved hands and fingers. I love that. She looked great, and she was absolutely in the game. Okay.
Oh, she was, as we call it, clocked in.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, baby.
Don't sleep on Dr. LaToya Thompson, because she damn sure ain't sleep.
No, she's not under anesthesia at all.
Not at all. Okay. Not at all. Okay. So I love that. And I love how she was clear And you know it's good when you get the side by side of the two people that are in the
The
confrontation.
split screen.
When we got that split screen of Kristina and LaToya, I said, "Oh baby, here we go." Okay, and we're off. That's what I said. All right. So I love that, you know, and not one and not in one instance, right? Did any of these people on this stage in these heated conversation and exchanges, not one time did they shame each other, not one time did they go after each other's credentials. You know what I mean? There was no below the belt, you know, mudslinging. Dr. Thompson was by no means scarred or marred or marked in any way that would lessen her credibility as the doctor of physical therapy by her reunion performance. And that kind of balance is the real sweet spot of this franchise, of Love and Marriage as a franchise, specifically overall, rather, but specifically Detroit. I love how there has just been, they're playing above board and it does not lack entertainment value. I'm appreciative of that.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that because, you know, one of the reasons why I do love Love and Marriage Detroit, and once again, Love and Marriage franchise was created during the birth of social media, right?
Yes.
Whereas the Real Housewives wasn't. So the Real Housewives is an example of that franchise. Let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
Where you have OC, you know, New York, Atlanta, whatever. And a lot of people don't compare because they understand that this is OC, this is Beverly Hills, this is Atlanta, and we enjoy each of them because we understand the crux of the city.
For sure.
When it comes to Love and Marriage, because it has been a part of social media, the creation of it, my franchise gets compared to each other. Where is Huntsville? Where is DC? Detroit. What I want the world to know is Huntsville is very Huntsville. DC is very DC. Detroit is Detroit. And what I love about Detroit is what you just said. It's a franchise where those women, and I'm not saying that the other shows who do it is bad, but
no, not at all. Not at all.
What I'm saying is when you watch it, they know how to get with each other.
Yeah.
Out it hitting below the belt to where you can't recover from it.
Yep.
And as a producer who works on shows where sometimes I'm like, this is bad. How do I get these two people back together? Detroit has not reached that boiling point, but it doesn't mean that it's a boring show. It means that this is how these group of friends talk, and why should we compare their friction to other shows instead of applauding it, saying, well, I can relate to this because when me and my friends get into it, we get into it the way Detroit does, and we still be like, so we still going to brunch on Sunday at 1 o'clock? Because nothing we said was below the belt. So I'm glad you pointed that out.
That, I mean, it's clear, right? When you watch this series, again, I want to emphasize the point that it is not lacking entertainment value, right? In any way. Yet still there's a let's take it there, right? These women and these men are pulled up in a way, right, that they are refusing to penetrate, and I love that. So kudos. And if you've ever spent time in Detroit and been amongst a certain type of Black community in Detroit, then you recognize these players instantly. You recognize these profiles, and you recognize this type of Black Detroiter. You recognize it instantly. And so I think you kind of really hit it out the park with that as far as the casting is concerned.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
No, and one thing about the men, I'll say it, these men, oh, they carry. Oh,
There is no Love and Marriage Detroit without Anthony Thompson. There is no Love and Marriage Detroit without Brandon Bowman. There is no Love and Marriage Detroit.
Kristina.
Brandon Smith. Sorry, Smith.
I know you didn't mean it. But the range, I was gonna clip it and
look. Well, you know what they say: the best shade throws itself, right? However, and there is no Love and Marriage without Russell. Forgive me. What's Russell and Kobe's last name?
Harris.
Without Russell Harris, there is none. Russell telling Brandon that if he wasn't saved, he would have broken every bone in his body, and Brandon not responding to that, and then explaining his choice as to why he did not respond. That is gold, literal television gold, and it was real because we believed every word Russell said. Okay, thank God he didn't have the Bible in his hand because he would have slapped him with all 66 books quickly. Okay. But it was real, and we love to see that. Brandon starting all that shit and then admitting it, taking accountability for it on the reunion stage. He said, Kristina, I knew that she would not willingly say how she felt about Kobe. So yes, I did say she was a Kobe cat, influenced based on comments that I got from Kristina. Yes. That's what the reunion stage is for, explaining accountability, really getting to the bottom of things. And you can't get it to the bottom of things unless people are willing to be honest and accountable. Shout out to this cast for doing that.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you asked Kobe, which between you and Kristina, who has more followers? I do. She has almost twice as many followers as Kristina. But you know what she said? But I'm not trying to diminish her. I'm not trying to demean her. I'm not saying she's bad and I'm better. I'm just saying, don't play me like I'm a little influencer, because I'm not. You can't argue with that. And you see, Kristina had nothing to offer because that was just plain. I mean, come on. It was direct and it was clear. And if you watch reality TV for as many years as you and I have, Carlos, and you especially, who has created and produced reality television, you appreciate that. You appreciate the way that these people showed up on Love and Marriage Detroit. I love it. One of my favorite scenes from this season was when Brandon went to meet with his mom. Yeah. I think that it explained so much about Brandon. It explained so much about some of his quirks and different things that we saw through the season. And I will never forget the scene where he said to her, it was really hard being biracial and, growing up in the hood and listening to what everybody says. And there was about a 2-beat pause. It was a pause, and his white mama, okay, talking like the white lady in the hood from Detroit that we all know. She said, it was hard being a white lady in the hood. When she said that, Carlos, I hollered.
Real talk.
I hollered. Okay. See, these are the things, these are the moments. This is the story that makes a show good. We know so much about this cast to take into season 2, because it's obviously coming back for season 2. We know so much about this cast to take with us into season 2 that we have a foundation set. We have a clear and a very strong foundation set as a viewing audience. As we move into season 2, we can get into the stories and the many branches that they have. Who would have thought that we would see Kristina flirt with her ex right in front of Brandon like we did at the showcase? At her man showcase, she's flirting with her ex. The conversation. We're from Detroit, so the tone of voice when she elevated the pitch. Okay, all right. You can hug him from the side all you want to, Kristina. You can hug him from the side all you want to, but we know what that is. We know what we're looking at. You flirted. You weren't disrespectful, but you was flirting with your ex. Making the designation Sean. I know Sean. You won't call him Lyrique.
Now, it wasn't Sean for me. Now listen. It was definitely the Sean for me.
We've all had that moment where you see your ex, and there is a validating feeling that you have. When you're at the top of your game
and you look good.
she looked beautiful that day. It was her shit, her and her man shit. You know what I'm saying? So she was in the right position to run into him. I thought it was hilarious that he played along the way that he did, and I look forward to seeing Sean as a friend of the show next year. Season 2, when y'all move Bravo and his wife to main cast, because hello, once you move Bravo and his wife to main cast, bring on Lyrique as a friend of this show, or let's get it cracking. Click that pen, friend. Click that pen. Okay, because I know you already got them dominoes lined up. You just waiting to push. I already know.
I'm always thinking in the comments. So you like Bravo and his wife Keita.
Love them. I think they were a nice young couple. I think they're nice to look at. I love their rapport. I think they both had opinions, on when they were in scene. I thought they played the role of a friend of greatly. And I think that they have ties to this cast in a way that will really warrant us spending more time getting to know them, i.e. them being moved to main cast. For sure. It's a no-brainer. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. As a matter of fact, bravo, Kingdom Reign Entertainment. That movie gonna make season 2. Bravo for moving Bravo, okay? Yeah.
We love, listen, there is a backstory with Bravo.
Can't wait to learn it. Can't wait to learn it.
With Bravo. What I will say to you is this. Hey, Bravo. I love Bravo. Bravo, I throughout this casting process, because I did this before, we did an extensive casting on Detroit for obvious reasons. Like it's another installment, but also like it's my hometown. Like we got to
get this right. Yeah.
Bravo was one of the first people we saw, and I was like, this man is great television. And I love the dynamic between him and Keita. What I will say is we always wanted Bravo to be main cast. Always. Keita wasn't as
comfortable.
Comfortable into she wanted just to see. And one thing about me and my company, my producers, we're not gonna force it. Like if you want it, you don't, you don't. But we knew that Bravo wanted it, and as he should, because Bravo was born to be on TV.
Yeah.
Bravo, come on. So we said, well, at least let's make Bravo the friend of. And I think when you see Bravo is so Detroit, Bravo reminds me of the dudes I went to high school with that runs a club. And Bravo is, of all the cast, sorry, Anthony and Brandon, Bravo's the biggest local Detroit celebrity of the cast.
You could tell because he ain't talking about it. That's how you know. It's a silent prowess. It's a silent dominance that he has that, again, I feel when I watch this show, I feel like I'm cheating almost because I recognize these character profiles from being in Detroit. There are so many Bravos in Detroit who are powerful in the community, powerful in their industry, have real ownership of their industry in that way. And there's a quiet, this is Detroit, baby. So we ain't gonna talk too loud about it, but you gonna fucking know what it is. You know what I mean? And that is the way that Bravo kind of carries himself amongst this cast. And now that you've actually shined a little bit of light on the history as it relates to the casting process for Bravo and Keita, this makes perfect sense because we didn't see Keita initially. We only saw Bravo. Later on, as I'm sure she became more comfortable with the process, the producers, and the whole experience, we saw her being willing to be not only just be on camera and be a part of the scenes, but she had something to say in the scenes.
Yes.
So this makes perfect sense. And sometimes people have to do things at their own pace.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that authenticity more than someone who is trying to force a square peg in a circle hole like that.
Yeah.
I like this approach.
No pegging allowed. No.
Yeah, no, not on this cast.
Sorry for allegedly. So
that ain't no
I didn't
receipt.
That's it. I had to mute and say I never followed. I was like, why is this on my timeline?
And there is a free. I said, if anybody took it seriously when they said give us free, it was because he is free. Do you hear me? Love to see it, brother. Do your thing. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Because he's honest about it. Do your thing, brother.
And he is doing it. So speaking of doing it,
all of it. Okay. If you know, you know.
Right. If you know, you know. Let's talk about, because again, I want people to really see things, and I'm hoping that we're able to explain this to the wide audience we have. Huntsville is very Huntsville.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation. We all know when it comes to Huntsville, what makes that show great. We ain't gotta say it. We all know what it is. We ain't gotta say it.
I definitely don't, because I've already said it, but it is what it is. Go ahead.
Huntsville is the GOAT for obvious reasons, and I'll leave it at that. Okay. DC, when Monique Samuels decided not to return to the show and season 2 came about, the world was shocked to be like, wow, this show is really good.
Yeah.
A chance to really see the dynamics of different people. When it comes to Detroit, it is something about these men where to me, Detroit is special because these men are very vocal. My favorite scene, I'm gonna get to this person next. My favorite scene, Dustin, is when the guys were having first of all, I have never seen black men on TV have Bible study.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just let's just start there. So Russell, Bravo, Anthony, and Brandon have Bible study. These
Mm-hmm.
black men. And Brandon shading Anthony and called him a little dog. Anthony
At Bible study.
at Bible study, Anthony, who was born and raised in Detroit and wears Detroit on his sleeve, man, please, for touch $1 million. That's when I knew it's the men for me.
And let's really break this down, right? In that scene, the things that they were saying to each other were those were feelings and perspectives, right? That they weren't new and fresh. Those are things that they had been holding on to for a while. When Brandon looked at him and said, yeah, your daddy's money, you spending your daddy's money to do XYZ or whatever. These are things that have been long standing, you know, in their POVs with one another. And it makes for a great argument. And it's rare that you get that sort of active participation, right? From male cast. It's rare. This is a cast. I'm almost willing to say that the Love and Marriage Detroit cast is almost male led, right? Which
Yeah.
is the difference between, I think, the other franchises. Now, naturally, amongst all of the Love and Marriage shows, you have really strong husbands, right? Let's not get on the Scott brothers. Let's not even start talking about Martell and all the things that he is and is not. And there's a lot that he is not. Okay. But then in DC, you know, Jamie, come on, you know what I mean? You have strong males in DC. You have and then here in Detroit, though, it's like all three of them. Even Russell deciding to be a more of a calm presence on the cast. When it was time, he literally told Brandon that he would have broken every bone in his body. Okay. And really, Russell ain't fucked with Brandon like that ever since that happened. He's been cordial in scene. He's been, you know, friendly enough, but there is a distance. There's a line that was drawn in the sand clearly between the two of them. I look forward to them, you know, unpacking that in season 2 and really breaking that down. Like, you're mad at Brandon. Russell is mad at Brandon. He didn't appreciate him engaging with his wife in that way. It was disrespectful. Again, if you're familiar with Detroit culture, especially Black Detroit culture, you know certain levels of disrespect there really is, you know, it's difficult to come back from. And I think that Russell, you know, as someone who has expressed interest in, you know, being what was he going to be?
Chaplain.
The chaplain. He was, because I knew it wasn't just a pastor. He said that he wanted to be a chaplain. You know, he's choosing to play this a certain way. You know, you're not gonna let another man argue with your lady in general, especially not on national television. You know, I don't care how many Bibles I got in my trunk as a chaplain. I'm gonna kick your ass. You know what I'm saying? You say something else to my wife, to my lady. So just seeing all that, if you're familiar with Detroit culture, you know how authentic this cast was and how much they really showed up to play. And I love it. I also love that the women on this cast, I love the balance of having two legitimate influencers, right? Who have an audience and have grown followings, and then having a doctor, okay, on this cast. I love that balance and that levity. I love that. I love the way that this legitimizes people who are working in the digital space like myself. You know, I love that these women have thriving, viable careers as online influencers. That's new and that's fresh. You know what I mean? I love this cast and I love this show and I look forward to seeing it grow. I love the fact that you had them go skating. Come on, Carlos.
Yeah, you have
Come on, come on, come on. Skating
to.
culture is huge in
Yeah,
Detroit. Huge. I
yeah,
love that. I love that they had the sit down in the Coney Island.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I love, come on, these are Detroit landmarks, and the people who know. And now everyone knows because it's been presented on this platform. So I'm very excited. Now, I did think it was funny that on the reunion stage, Kristina was a lot more guarded and a lot more she just was not engaging in a way that I had anticipated her engaging on that stage. And I was surprised that Dr. Thompson showed up the way that she did on that stage. There was a reversal there that I was not, there was a almost a plot twist of sorts in the reunion that I didn't see coming. I didn't.
No, and same here. So me sitting there, I agree with you. I agree with you. I was pleasantly surprised by Dr. Thompson.
For sure.
I think you saw me reacting like,
oh, yeah, like, I did. We literally saw it.
Like a proud parent, like, oh, baby, you, wait, excuse you.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the fact that she was like, you know, when she gave a little, like, didn't do all this. But like you said, she's still a doctor.
Yeah.
She gave you with her gloves, sketch into the dress. She gave you like some fever. So when she told Kristina, play the victim, I mean, you played the victim in your marriage.
Yep. And then we saw Chrissy, and this is the beauty of people actually showing up, right, and being authentic in their presentation. Kristina didn't expect that comment. And if you saw the reaction that she gave, she reeled herself back in. She said she reacted, first of all, that is my husband, and if I whatever I want to be, that's us. Then she pulled it back in. She said, so I wasn't playing the victim, but that shook her up. She didn't expect Dr. Thompson to be so quick with it. Even when you asked her, you said, do you feel like Kristina plays the victim? I do. Immediately. I do. That's what Dr. Thompson said.
No need to think about that one.
I do. I said, woo, baby, Dr. LaToya Thompson. Okay. Don't sleep. And I love that. That's what you want ultimately. We want a little bit of unpredictability, right, from our cast, and we want to see them show up and have honest reactions and emote in ways that are new for us as viewers. And so that's what we got. These people showed up and did what they had to do.
That one really surprised me. And I remember I was talking to the producers. And I was like, I'm really having fun with this cast because they're new and they are just trying to figure things out. Like me going behind the scenes and showing you guys how I'll talk to them in the dressing room.
I love that.
Yeah, they were low-key nervous because they just didn't know. You know, I want the world to know this. So obviously, before you tape a reunion, the cast gets all of the episodes. So they get to watch it before y'all watch it. So they're watching like 4 to 5 episodes in one sitting. And all of these emotions are there. And they don't know how to process it, knowing that in 20 minutes, I got to go out on stage and answer this.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that is the reason why you see, like you said, a few surprises. I was, like I said, pleasantly surprised with Dr. Thompson because this is the thing. Listen, that's why I kept asking, like, do you like her? I mean, I got a problem with her. Look, sis, I didn't ask you that. Do you like her?
Straight up. You said, do you think LaToya likes you? I know. Well, I'm not gonna say she doesn't like me. No, she don't like you. She don't like you. That's how much she don't like you. Loud as that siren is right there. That's LaToya letting you know I don't like you. Okay, I do not. LaToya didn't like the way that, and I'm gonna tell you what tipped her over. It was 2 things. Number one, it was all that carrying on at the when they had the wine tasting for Opulence at the wine spot downtown or whatever that I saw. LaToya didn't like any of that. And that skating rink incident is what tipped her right over. The whole Colby cat, I think that just took things to a level of immaturity that LaToya was personally offended by because she kept referencing them being in public and just alluding to this kind of not being the sort of social engagement that she's used to or that she appreciates. And she blames Kristina for taking it there. That's what's going on. She feels like Kristina is constantly putting them in situations that drop the class level down a little bit of this show. And she doesn't like that shit. And she's pinning it on Kristina. It's plain as day. That's what's going on.
That's a good assessment. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I'm a,
And that's what she don't like. Okay. Yeah.
got it. Okay, as we write that down. Okay, I love taking notes, and Dustin comes all raindrops. So we one of the things we saw too before the reunion ended, I did ask Kobe, do you think Kristina plays it up for the cameras? And Kobe said she gives a little extra. She
Yep.
gives very Detroit. She gives a little
She
extra.
gives a little extra. Okay.
Um, do you think Kristina plays it up for the cameras?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm actually grateful that she does because it makes for fascinating television. I definitely do. I think she plays it up and then she finds herself in situations where her ability to be controlled is tested. I think that it makes for great TV. Again, she wasn't expecting to see Sean, okay, Lyrique at the showcase like
We're
that.
gonna stick with
And
this,
but she
Sean.
she couldn't help but engage with him in a certain way, and even like her tone and her dialect was different from what we've seen. So yes, I definitely think that she puts on and that she's a little extra for the cameras, and I'm actually appreciative of it as a viewer. Now I'm sure as a cast member that experience is a little different, right? You may not be as appreciative, but the view from a viewer's perspective, hell yeah, I love it. Thank you, Kristina, for putting on for the cameras. Thank you. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Kristina. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Thank you. Chef's kiss. We love it. Thank you,
Okay.
Kristina. Mm-hmm.
So the reunion clip, what was it? There was a cliffhanger
Mm-hmm.
where you saw this Kobe and Kristina moment. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, big sis, little sis. What are your thoughts seeing that, and where do you hope things go with the two of them?
Well, I'll answer that part first. I hope that things go to a place of peace and harmony for them. I did enjoy them getting along, but I'm now asking the question of how authentic that portrayal of their relationship was. Now that we know that Kristina puts on for the cameras and Kobe do too a little bit, I would like to know if they're what they presented to us as their relationship, if that was actually what it ever really was. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to question, I'm not going to question, you're my friend in real life, Carlos. I'm not going to question whether or not you're trying to copy me. We both, you're a producer, we work in media, we host, you know what I mean? There's some of the things that we do are similar. I would not feel like you were trying to copy me. You understand what I'm saying? Based on the strength of our connection, our friendship. That wouldn't even enter my ethos. Like I wouldn't even think about that. But Kristina did, which kind of to me alludes to them maybe not being as close as they tried to tell us they were, or maybe not having this big sis, little sis, which honestly, that's always a red flag for me. As a man of a certain
Oh, big
age
sis,
who,
little sis.
yeah, yeah. I
I see
don't
what
I don't call my other friends little bro or big bro. We're bros. You know what I mean? It's a respect thing. I'm not gonna try to place you in a category of whatever in relation to me. If we're peers, we're peers. If we're friends, we're friends. We're bros, we're bros. So that whole big sis little thing was always a red flag for me. I think it's an easy way to align yourself with someone else's wave or their popularity, whatever. When Nene and Portia did the big sis little sis thing, I never really thought that was accurate. I thought it was Nene's way of positioning herself in a certain way of dominance over Portia, who obviously was popular and a fan favorite. So I never really buy into the big sis little sis bullshit, and I didn't buy into it on this cast. So I'm interested next year in seeing what the real actual state of their relationship is as friends. Who are these women to one another? Now that we got the work shit out the way, now that we know that you think that Kobe is trying to copy you, and so we know that there's a competitive energy that exists amongst them. I'm interested in kind of identifying why that exists and seeing what that relation is to the real status of their friendship or lack thereof. And I'm also interested in seeing LaToya be a listening ear for that and seeing how she responds to it. I'm interested in seeing that. Yeah.
I am too, with Kita being there. Okay,
With
so
Keita being in the mix, because Keita, when they were in Traverse City, which, oh my God, let's even talk about that. Them going up north, quote unquote, to Traverse City to the winery. It's so chic, and it represents, and that is an area, a part of Michigan that is not typically occupied by Black tourists or Blacks. It wasn't for years. Now to see an influx of Black tourism in the up north wine country, Traverse City region, love to see that. If you're a Michigander, as they say, you totally understand that. And so when they were there, though, Keita was opinionated. She had an opinion about things, and I can't wait to see Keita have her opinion in season 2. I can't wait.
As I go over my notes after this interview. Well, look,
I'm actually also interested in exploring LaToya's universe, Dr. Thompson's universe outside of this cast. I'm excited to see the relationships in her life. I want to see. I know when LaToya mentioned on her interview with you how accomplished her family was. I believe you said she was a twin. One of her
twin sister.
Yeah, one of her other sisters is an attorney. I think she said, this is an accomplished, esteemed Black family of a certain pedigree that needs to be on TV. We need to see that. And I'd like to see their opinions on some of the personal relationships that exist within this cast. I'd like to see LaToya's family's opinions of Kristina, right? And Kristina and LaToya's relationship. I want to see what those conversations look like. So I'm interested in kind of, zooming in and getting into what LaToya's universe looks like in correlation to this cast. I'm interested in seeing that. I'm interested in seeing Colby and Russell's relationship evolve and mature, right? I think that there's a disconnect, if I'm being honest, between Colby and Russell. And I think that they kind of put a Band-Aid over whatever the disconnect is and function as a couple from day to day. And I think that while they're doing good, there's a wall up between them that I feel like can be ripped down and they can just meet as their actual selves, right? Not the chaplain and not the PK, just Colby and Russell. You know what I mean? And I'm interested in seeing that in season 2. We got a lot to talk about with this show. We have a lot more to learn about these people. And there's a lot more of Detroit to see. So I'm excited. And I hope that you guys film around the auto show so they can go to the charity preview, the Black Tie Night.
Oh my, so many memories. The auto show.
The auto show, right? Yep. And you know what else, Carlos? I'd love to see them go to Cedar Point. There's a lot of things that we could love. That could be a trip, a cash trip. There's a lot of things that we could see, So I'm interested. I'm so interested. And I'm so glad that you have finally put the cameras and the eyes on Detroit that need to be there. Detroit is a city that is known for fly ass Black ballers, Black people who are doing their thing, and Black people having a sense of pride and community. And I'm just really glad that is being highlighted and is now visible for all of the eyes of OWN Network and Kingdom Reign Entertainment. The raindrops and the ain't drops, even the people that talk shit, you know what I'm saying? Like we want them to, because they're all watching.
I love them
all. We love it. Yes,
we
love them all. We love them all.
Yes.
So yes, Carlos, I'm very much enjoying this. Very, very much. And shout out to what is her name? Is it Chelsea? What is
Chelsea?
Yeah, shout out to Chelsea. Look, a formidable friend of the show. Okay, she literally showed up, showed out, contributed, had something to say, and I loved seeing her. I think she's a great friend of, and we need to keep her right there and
Chelsea's
see more of her.
I like this Chelsea. Chelsea speaks her mind,
and we love that, right? That's a very valuable currency in this here space. So yes, absolutely. I love Chelsea.
I want people to speak their minds.
Yeah, my mouth was open when they were at the wine tasting at the event for Opulence, and I was watching all this go on. I was like, okay, Chelsea. Okay. So I definitely enjoyed that.
No, like you said, there's so many. Well, listen, we'll see. There's a season 2. I can't say anything,
Don't worry, I'll say it for you. I can't wait to watch season 2. Okay.
What I can't wait say is there's a lot to go with these couples. There's a lot to go with their stories and to really just open up the world. I think one of the things that I loved about the second seasons of Huntsville and DC is like in Huntsville, second season, just introducing new dynamics. You know, we had Destiny LeBaron come in, and we were seeing different players. DC, we brought in Joy and Clifton, and then
game changer.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was, and I would love to see what we can do with Detroit. There's a lot to go with these couples and the dynamics of their relationships, but also, like you said, their world. And one thing you said that I'm like, that's a good idea is really seeing LaToya's world, like these Black professionals, because Toya's family, based on my interview, they give me Huxtable vibes.
That's what we want. Those make for some very dynamic, and not in a messy, you know, argument centered way, but just in a watching these people live their daily lives and seeing a fun side to these, you know, distinguished Black professionals in the city. And that is a whole network and community in and of itself, right? Those people that occupy those stations in life kind of exist within each other's universe. So I think that's a portal here, right? I think LaToya's world is one that we can definitely tap into. And again, even like, I think she's in the perfect position to have family members that we get to know and love, that she checks in with, and we get to see their opinion on what's going on between her and this cast. I think there's an incredible opportunity there for that, in addition to maybe finding some more main cast, you know what I mean, that exists within that space.
Yeah.
I think there's something there. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Kobe grow up in Flint? Is her family from Flint?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And so we know, you know, that stretch. I just think there's a lot. I just think the Love and Marriage Detroit franchise has a lot of branches and arms and legs, and, you know, it just can extend so far. And I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see, you know, where's the Rhonda Walkers and the, you know, and those women. Where, you know, let's go there. Okay, let's go there. All right. That's what I want to see. And I think this is the perfect foundational group that will last the duration of the show. These are not cast members that are one and dones and then we reboot this and have, you know, I think that this is where we start and stay. But I think that there's so much room for expansion, and that is an immeasurable value when you're talking about an ensemble reality cast. So knocked it out the park. I'm so happy to be enjoying this, and I will say I can't wait for season 2. I also can't wait for season 3 of DC, because I want to know what the hell is going on over there. I didn't see pictures of folks hanging out. I seen some link ups and shit that I was like, no.
It's DC is his own thing. DC is coming back.
Yes.
The network we share the air day is coming back.
Yes.
And what I will say is you will not be disappointed. And we taped the reunion.
Because didn't I see someone say, somebody was talking about what happened at the reunion after the taping. Was it Jamie and Irena? Or maybe it was Ashley. Someone was saying that or was it Winter saying that she had to pull out, she had to go there on something damn happened. Yes. I do know that.
A lot happened. Let me tell you, we were there for 12 hours. A lot happened. There's so much to talk about. I will say it's top 5 of one of the best reunions I filmed. It was.
I can't wait.
It's. I'll say this. It's comedy and drama. It's a drama.
Yes.
One more thing I will say, and I know it's gonna be like, Carlos, we gonna see it. I know when you see it, just rewind this moment. Within the first 5 minutes, I had to separate people. I'm like, it's only 5. I don't even think the mint in my mouth dissolved.
DC, baby.
And DC, baby. I had to be like, wait.
DC, baby. Happening? That means they were in those dressing rooms listening to some good DC go-go music. Okay, getting ready to come on out on that stage and handle their business. I can't wait. I can't wait. We'll talk about it.
It wasn't this in front of me. I'm like, I'm like, I literally have to say, it's 5 minutes.
Yes.
Part of the show. What are we? Can we wait?
I love and Marriage DC. They
DC is
come to
phenomenal.
play. I can't
Don't
wait to
sleep
see
on
more of
DC.
Sharella.
Yeah,
I cannot wait to see.
they're all
You know
there.
how I have a soft spot for Ash. I have a soft spot for the whole DC cast, if I'm being honest. But I feel like Ashley Silva is one of those people. Like, I won't even name anyone else because she's in a class of her own. I feel like Ashley Silva was born to be on reality television,
Yeah.
hands down. And she can anchor this cast. And what's so incredible about this is that her and Irena kind of co-anchor this cast, and they were the two of them, whether they get along or not, the two of them working together to co-anchor this show is just necessary, right? You need them both.
It's very Nene Kim.
Very, and I see that, and I can't wait, baby. Season 3. Season
Irena,
3.
I'll say this: Ashley and Irena, 10s across the board.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
It anyway. Stay tuned for because I'm like getting flashbacks. Like, so stay tuned for that. It was a great reunion. DC is coming back.
Wonderful.
Better than ever. It will be. Mark my words and clip this, guys, and post it on all the blogs that y'all want to. Love and Marriage DC return will be worth the wait. And the beauty of the return of Love and Marriage DC is y'all get to just enjoy that.
Yes.
It won't be, well, this comes on after. It's you'll get to enjoy DC so that you can rest in DC the way you're resting in Detroit without, now that Huntsville's on hiatus, it'll allow Detroit to like be on its own, and we were able to sustain an audience, which is fantastic.
Yes.
So when DC comes back, it is by far the best season.
Oh, I can't wait to enjoy it, especially since after that comes back and runs its course, we'll be back in Huntsville. And that trailer that we saw for what's to come in Huntsville,
September 16th.
I like, come on, man. Come on, Carlos.
I'll say this about Huntsville cast, because they listened. They woke up. I will see you.
Let me just say this, right? Let me just say this one thing about this one clip.
Okay.
So two things in what we saw in the teaser we saw before the extended trailer that we just got, when we saw Melody and Marceau having that meeting, and Marceau made the passive aggressive reach to Melody, and the way she reared up and looked up just like T when she leave your okay. Then when they were at that table, that picnic table, the look on Stormy's face when Kiki was having her moment, because again, that the way that her emotions, the crescendo that was taking place with her emotions in that scene, come on, the way Stormy's mouth was agape. Stormy's mouth said, Kiki said, she is. She needs to. That right there, Marceau and Letitia, we're not responding to that. She said, I know. All of that. Carlos, I cannot. When I tell you, I can't wait.
It's good. Listen, it's every episode is like this. It's I think I saw the first maybe 5-6 episodes. If that, I saw. Listen, the moment Dustin's talking about with the picnic and Kiki and all that, you will not be disappointed. You're not going to want to leave your couch.
And this also, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
please,
the nuggets that we've been given in these trailers, this is going to place Marceau in a place of accountability that we have not seen him be in all his years on this show. While certain rumors and things have been swirling, the way that Kiki is making direct and clear accusations and saying things plainly, we haven't seen that you know, we just haven't seen that. And so I'm excited to see that. I just put it like that. I'm excited.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited. I'm so excited, actually. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes,
Love and
yes.
Marriage Huntsville returns September 16th, 8 o'clock 7 Central on. And part 2 of Love and Marriage Detroit next Saturday, 8 o'clock 7 Central.
Can't
Dustin,
wait.
thank you enough. I love you, my
I
brother.
love you,
Thank you
friend.
for
Thank
this
you.
great interview. Once again, let them know, although they do, but just in case they don't know, where folks can find you, follow you, and support your many projects.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. First of all, to you, Carlos. Thank you to all the raindrops. Y'all, I know I love y'all. I am y'all. Hell. Also, you can catch me for all things that's going on with me. Just listen, I'm just like everybody else. I am led by the living resume of Instagram. So you can go to my Instagram. It's look at Dustin, just like it sounds, LOOKATDUSTIN. Keep up with everything there. You can catch me on Holding Court with my girl and yours, Ebony K. Williams. I love you, Ebony. You can catch me every Wednesday with the Friend Zone with my incredibly talented co-hosts, Asante and Fran. And you can also catch me as host of Bet on Black on Revolt TV, which is streaming everywhere you can watch Revolt stuff. So yeah, it's good things going on, and I'm just grateful to be here in the office. Okay.
Yes.
Next time we're in the same next time I'm around the office, we're gonna shoot in the office. How about that?
Yes.
Media
No,
and
but
all them to the studio. We going in the
I
office.
know. I need
Yeah.
to get you in the studio. I'm definitely doing more studio interviews. So when you're listen, we'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
We'll talk. We'll talk. We'll talk. Yep.
Yes. I love you,
Love
bro.
you, brother. All right, man.